It's Wednesday at 11, so you know what that means. It's time for tea and talk.
Oh, what's that?
Bitch, please.
Hello, and welcome to Tea and Talk, the podcast where I get to do two things I'm particularly passionate about. Drink some tea and just talk a lot. On today's episode, I'll just be chatting about my week for a little bit, then I'll be discussing the brand new teas that I have, and finally, I'll be discussing how we've all adapted during the pandemic in terms of plans that we had coming up, but have unfortunately had to cancel. Guess who's back again, for episode 4 of Tea and Talk. Woohoo! Okay, hi! Sorry about that cursed introduction. How are you doing this week? Welcome to episode 4 of Tea and Talk. Can't believe we've made it to 4 weeks of this. This is the most I've committed to, well, anything. I jest, but how is everybody? I've actually had a very good week. I don't know if it was obvious last week, but I actually wasn't in the best headspace when last week's podcast came out. I wasn't going to talk about that because I want this podcast to be an informative and, in a way, kind of positive piece of media that I'm putting out to help people cheer up. But yes, last week wasn't the best, but this week has been a lot better. For starters, I have received a new job offer, and I'm very, very excited to start with that. So things are looking up, and I'm incredibly grateful, and I know how absolutely lucky I am, because a lot of people are still struggling with unemployment and having lost their jobs because of COVID. So the fact that I've got a new job, I'm just so excited about, and I really can't wait to start. But please know that I know that a lot of people are still struggling, and I sympathise with you greatly. Also, I've got some brand new teas this week, and I'm incredibly excited to start those. And I've been binging some more TV, so what's not to love? Don't know if any of you have watched Derry Girls, but one of the girls in it is in Bridgerton. Her name is Nicola Coughlan, and I watched Bridgerton and saw that she was in it, and I recognised her from Derry Girls, but I'd never actually committed to watching it myself. So I thought I'd give it a try, and I ended up watching all 12 episodes, and I absolutely loved it. Think The In-Betweeners, but the primary cast are female, and it's set in Northern Ireland during the struggles in that time, the religious and political struggles, and it's so very interesting and so funny. And I, would definitely recommend it. Apparently there was meant to be a season that would have come out in 2020, but because of the pandemic, obviously, filming had to be delayed, which is unfortunate. But yeah, very, very enjoyable, and would recommend it to anybody. I've just been generally in a really good headspace this week. I'm obviously excited that there's a bit more of a roadmap out of lockdown, but I'm also extremely tentative about it because I don't want to get my hopes up too much about seeing people in my life. However, I'm very positive that it's looking like things are going a bit better now. And this is the first time I sort of approve of what the government's doing. I don't necessarily think they should have disclosed the entire plan straight away, because I think it can lead to people getting complacent or far too invested in restrictions being lifted. But it's good to know that things are moving forward and that there's hope that things will be a bit more normal in a few months. I agree that it's important that they follow the science, and I think that anybody who says otherwise is frankly a selfish prick who just wants to go on holiday. That's my tea for today. Speaking of tea, I know this introduction's been a bit shorter than normal, but why not? Let's move on to the tea segment. Are you ready to talk about some tea, baby? I'm sorry, that was so creepy. I will never do that again. Or will I? I'm joking. So today I'm drinking a French Earl Grey, which is kindly provided by my sponsor, T2. I kid. They're not really our sponsor. But if anyone from T2 is listening, I'm a big fan. And if you wanted me to become an ambassador, I won't say no. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I'm joking. But yes, I am drinking a French Earl Grey, which was gifted to me by my lovely boyfriend. He sent me a lovely package, and it included some teas. So this is a French Earl Grey. I've also got Melbourne Breakfast, which is kind of like English breakfast, but with a hint of vanilla. That's what I've read, I don't actually know. Some Berrylicious one, which is red berries, obviously. I've got a Paxa Peach and Green Rose. I've never really had green tea very much before. It's not something that I'll go out of my way to buy, but I'll get the free ones in Wagamama, because who doesn't do that, let's be totally honest. However, first of all, I was Sunday years old when I found out that green tea has caffeine in it. I was convinced that it was caffeine-free. Turns out it's not, it's just very low in caffeine, but that's something that I learnt for the future. It was unfortunate, though, because I was having it in the evenings, this green rose tea, as sort of a calming tea to have with my bath, because I feel like that would help me be refreshed or whatever. I'm not an expert on these kind of things, but you get my drift. And I poured myself a pot, so these loose leaf pots that I've got, I poured myself a pot of this green rose tea, took it with me to the bathroom, and was running a bath as well. And the teapot kind of exploded. Not actually exploded, but it kind of did explode. Basically, I put it on our cabinet in the bathroom. Then all of a sudden, I heard this smashing sound, and a piece of glass broke off the teapot, and tea started spilling everywhere, and it was incredibly dramatic, and I was almost kind of terrified, because I have no idea how that happened. My dad was theorising that it was because the teapot was too hot, but, you know, it's a teapot. You're meant to put boiling water in it, so why would that have any kind of impact? Maybe I filled it up too full, I don't know. But yeah, the teapot exploded, and... Okay, actually, no, my mum takes issue with me using the phrase exploded, because it didn't really explode. It just broke randomly. But there was no impact, it just went... which kind of confused me greatly. But yes, that was a thing, and unfortunately it meant I had to get rid of a lot of the green tea, which was sad, because I was very much enjoying drinking it, but never mind. Review of the French Earl Grey. Delicious. If anything, a bit bitter, because I've been running around like a mad woman today trying to get stuff done, and I may have let it brew for too long, so it's actually got quite a bit of taste. I'm surprised that it recommends that I have this tea black, but I'm doing what the instructions say. I'm a good girl, I'm not going to rebel and put milk in it. But yeah, I mean, when it comes to milk, I do like black tea. It's not something I'm opposed to, but with the standard stuff, I like having milk in it, mainly to cool it down, really, but also to add an element of creaminess to it. Obviously, for most, obviously for teas like fruit infusions or green tea, I wouldn't think to put milk in it at all, because that's just not the done thing. But yeah, I was surprised that a French Earl Grey, it wasn't recommended, but there we go. Still enjoying it. It's still pretty good. I have upped my coffee intake by 1 coffee a day. I think I've been previously saying that I only have 2. I actually have 3. But I'm resisting having it too late in the evening because I don't want to stay up. I've been trying to sort out my sleeping habits recently. So resisting having that caffeine, say, gone 3 p.m. is really important. And it's actually kind of working. I'm sleeping a lot better. I'm waking up a lot earlier. To be totally honest with you, I've been... In the past, I often struggled to wake up before 11 a.m, if not midday. And that's not necessarily purely down to my caffeine intake, but it could partially be down to that. So that's why I've been reducing how much caffeine I have for the sake of my sleep. I still have it in the morning to jolt me up and wake me up, because I'll be real with you, I'm really not a morning person. I like my bed. But it's very, I'm really happy with the reduction in my caffeine, and I'm also enjoying having some naturally non-caffeinated drinks in the evening, like fruit infusions or rooibos tea, because I do enjoy having naturally non-caffeinated drinks as well. Oh god, sorry, that bit was especially bitter. But I've had a mug of this French Earl Grey before, and when I did it correctly, and it was very, very delicious. So please don't take my reaction to this tea as gospel, because it is actually very, very nice. I just need to stop making tea before I'm ready to drink it, because I'm just a flippin' idiot. I don't know why I resisted swearing there. I've sworn on this podcast before. Fucking idiot. There we go. I label it as explicit. It's fine. It's all good. No worries. But yeah, let's talk about cake for a minute. I mentioned last week that I've been baking quite a lot. I've stopped that for a little bit, mainly because I've been working a lot more. However, Mum decided to buy some really nice cakes from Lidl, including angel cake, and I must give angel cake a quick shout out because, dear God, I bloody love it. It's so delicious, and I don't know what I'd do without it. That sounds so weird. I bloody love angel cake. In terms of Swimming World, it's 7 cents for a slice. So at the moment I've been having one a day, and it's pretty damn good. I haven't had a hot chocolate in a really long time. I'm thinking I might make one tonight, because no, tonight I'm celebrating my new job, so tonight I'm having some bubbly. Let's talk about alcohol. This is a celebratory episode. I'm not drinking alcohol right now, although bloody hell I should be. I really should. No, that sounds bad. But I really like wine, but I have been trying to drink it a lot less because of the calories involved. Just because, as I mentioned last week, because of my illness, I need to keep my weight in check. But I also really like gin, which is far slimmer, if that makes sense. As a drink, it's lower in calorie, and I really do really like gin, especially because I could put it with whatever mixer I want. Right next to me, I have a Larios Rosé gin. So it's rose-flavoured gin, and that was a gift from my aunt to me after I dog sat for her in summer 2019, which was one of my favourite things to do. So the fact that I got paid and I got gifted was incredible, because honestly, it wasn't really a job. The dog's name is Buddy, and he was just such a joy to be around, and I miss the fact that I haven't been able to see my extended family or Buddy for a really, really long time, because if you don't know me, I really love dogs, but don't have one myself, and I'm really excited for the time when I will be able to see dogs again. But yes, this was a gift from my aunt, and it's absolutely delicious. To be honest, I'm impressed that I've made it last a whole year and a half. Like, go me, man. Because I took it with me to uni in my final year before I moved home. But I just kept buying cheap gin instead, because student life, and I kept forgetting that I had some of my own. But it's quite special to me, so that's why I've made it last so long. I've also got some Tanqueray Blood Orange gin up here. So that is always a good one to go for as well. I miss going out for like a casual drink in a bar or the pub. I think that's something that, in terms of COVID, has been not a huge impact on me, but it's something that does occur to me from time to time, because that would be how I spent time with my friends when I was at home. We'd go to the pub, we'd grab some drinks, and we've sort of since had to adapt to that because of COVID, obviously. I mean, we're still spending time together, and it's still incredibly enjoyable, but I guess I miss that face-to-face contact just as much as anybody, and I can't wait for the day that we'll be able to do that again in a safe environment. Speaking of adaptability, let's move on to the final segment.
Oh, what's that? Bitch, please.
Here's a behind-the-tea exclusive for you all. I just went downstairs to grab a bite to eat because, oh my god, I was starving. I was really struggling to get through that tea segment because I really needed some food, but now I'm nice and full, so let's move on. I thought we could talk a bit about adaptability and how people have changed plans during COVID, because I think that's something that we've all had to learn and grow from, and I think that there's a lot of room for more growth and improvement in the future, because the pandemic is not over yet, even though we are in the latter stages, I would like to hope. So I put out a question on my Instagram a few weeks ago, might have been last week, asking people what plans have changed because of the pandemic. Quite a few of my answers were based on graduation ceremonies, so I thought we could talk a bit about that for a minute. I'm not going to lie to you, my graduation ceremony was actually the thing I was looking forward to the most when it came to university, but unfortunately had to adapt because of COVID. I graduated in 2020 and would have had my ceremony in July, but instead I was offered a virtual ceremony. And if the virtual ceremony had been done sufficiently, I would have been satisfied with that.